known as a plan or a map. That's so much about surveying and mapping, and that's what you represent. That's what you set out to do on a daily basis, and that's why you've been a meeting here as a body. But that simply means that whatever future that can be thought about, whether beneath the earth or the land or above it, is your job to do what? To aggregate all of that. I am getting to something, not because they need to, so that we'll be conscious of the kind of conversation we'll be having here. And also went ahead to ask, who is the surveyor? Ask the question, who is the surveyor? And my research took me to understand that the surveyor is a professional with the academic qualifications and technical expertise to conduct one or more of the following activities. He's a professional. So it's not just about anybody. As I was telling you, I think he's a professional with academic qualification. I don't know GSI, but I'm sure for anybody to be part of this organization, the person would have gone to school and acquired the relevant certificate. Which means you are not just a professional, you are a professional that is backed with academic qualification. And you have technical expertise. It is not the one that your professional ability and your academic qualification is maybe expressed in politics. No. It doesn't mean you're running one shop in Ogbe. What they are saying is that you must practice this thing. Because it's in practice that you develop the right expertise to call yourself a professional in that field. And they say the activities a person should have include, number one, he will have the ability to determine, measure and represent land. Three-dimensional object, what I know you call 3D, that is the height, the width, and the depth of that particular thing you're measuring. The point views and the trajectory. A professional that is positive and said a surveyor must have the ability to do this one thing. He must also have the ability to assemble and interpret land and geographical related information. Not just the land, every feature, like I said, both the animate and inanimate objects found there. A surveyor who is the business of surveying and mapping must have the ability to assemble objects of such future. And I was also told that he has the ability to use these things he has acquired. The measurement, the determination, the features he has assembled, use the information for the planning and efficient administration of the land, the sea, and structures that are found there. So you have the capacity to also administer. It's not just about developing map. It's not about identifying those features. If you're called upon at any point in time, you should have the capacity to do what? To administer every information that you've obtained by way of your surveying or your mapping. And the last one I was told is that a surveyor has the ability to conduct research into the approved practices. That is all of what I've mentioned, and to develop such research. So you're not just about Akoni they may survey. I get that here somewhere you just do it. It goes beyond that. Research is part of what you do. Beyond research, you develop the idea that comes with your research work. And that is part of what you do. And the next thing I'm going to be talking about, I don't know if we're ready, is about security and surveying or mapping. I had said earlier that it never occurred to me that you have a very critical role to play in our daily activity, particularly the police that has the internal responsibility to provide security for every single Nigerian. We remain the internal-led security agency in this country. And there's no way whatsoever that we begin to achieve this if we don't have people like you join us in the business of doing what? Of providing security. There's no new crime introduced in the society. Every of the crime you see was perpetrated today and existed. I agree. But the degree of occurrence, the frequency at which this thing is occurring, the way and manner those who are perpetrating it are going about it is never the same thing the way in your own time. Then what was the population of Nigeria, let's say as at 2 decades ago? What was the size of the police maybe for doing the job of policing as at then? You're looking at people, developmental issues. People are finding the best easiest route to exercise whatever grievance they have, not just with themselves, they have with the system.
have changed. It's becoming complex and complicated by the day. And particularly in our part of the country, except you're a visitor to the entire southeast geopolitical zone, Enugu State inclusive, you agree with me that things have not been the same in this part of the country. And I believe very strongly that the only way we can begin to get out of the woods is when we begin to work with people like you. If you believe with me, say amen. Now, given the kind of security arrangement we have, there is a need for proper surveying and mapping of our various geographical space. If that is not done, we begin to have issues. Because we are talking about crime that has moved from happening within the woman-dominated or populated area. It's happening in the bushes. I will hear one tribe has committed a crime. It's not how we even here. Even our own people that are getting into a crime, they now operate from the bush or forest. And these are places that have been issued. You will find it difficult to carry out the business of policing those places. I've made this argument already. And I said, and I will stand by it to the extent to which you want to agree with me, the police does not populate. We don't police the forest. We police the human dominated and populated space. It doesn't mean the forest is ungoverned. It only means that we are first interested in the human being we are seeing like us to police. But eventually what we are seeing now is that crime is moving from the space where you and I true of course. The more reason why somebody will block you on the road, pick you and go back into the bush to go and keep you. So what it means is that we must begin to extend our day-to-day practical activities of policing to those forests. And that is bringing us to where this collaboration is going to work. You know, it's commonsensical, but not until the consciousness is activated in you and I, you won't know it. When my city called and said, this one, why are they inviting you? Have I seen them before? Do I know them? I only laughed over it. When I started them, I was researching, I was trying to gather basic data to share with us today. It keeps striking my head that you're losing out in a very critical member of your stakeholders. If I think any of us have visited the office of the Commissioner of Police recently, as you're stepping in there, you see a map. I don't know if anybody has been there. There's a map. I was the one that planted that map there. Map of Enugu State. And it will shock you to know that that map was given to me by somebody in Anambra. I didn't get it from amongst us or in Enugu. Maybe because I never knew. In my subconscious, I never had this knowledge of the fact that there's an association like this that I personally have come to find out that are very critical or is very critical to what we do. Now crime is becoming complex, it's becoming complicated, it's becoming something that every day you wake up you want to hear, you will be hearing a different news. And when you hear this news, it looks like those of us who have been given the responsibility to make sure we police, secure the public spaces, that we are not doing what is expected of us. No. It only means our best is not yet enough. It can get better. And that better or betterness that will come is dependent very strongly on how we identify relevant hands, relevant groups, relevant individuals that will play a vital role in what we are doing. Whether we like it or not, no matter how sophisticated, no matter how equipped the police or any other security agency can be, if we do not get the right information, the right intelligence actionable enough to aid what we do, there's no magic we can do about security in this country. And that intelligence, that information is not going to come from the moon. It will come from either the ones who can generate by ourselves or the one that people within the same society share with us. I told somebody, you know, we keep imagining we want to leave America in Nigeria. And I like, you must leave Nigeria in Nigeria. America remains where it is. Let them enjoy the nation they have created for themselves. We also will enjoy what we've created for ourselves. But if you're comparing, you're making those comparisons, somebody will say, you go there, once you do, they match your fingerprint with data. We've not grown to that level. The reality of Nigeria today is the reality of the one that we do things the way we find ourselves doing them, because we don't have all of those equipment. But I also made a very critical point that even in America, where you have all of the equipment, You have a system that is working. There's absolutely no way the police, the security system still works without the people. It's an instance I will always give. There's a young man that went into a mall and shot about 5 people. Either in Texas or last day that thing happened. The police started working. They couldn't identify, even with all of the data, the information management system over. They couldn't identify the suspect. It took a neighbor in that neighborhood who knows that young man very well to not only put a call across, but to give them reliable information as to the whereabouts of that young man and who he really is, how it is he has been coming. It's not somebody they can pinpoint as to what he does. That was how the police over there were able to choose and arrest him. Even with all of what they have there, they still needed this information from a citizen to get the kind of result they want. And like I've also captured, crime is bound to happen everywhere. I mentioned that we police the human populated space of everywhere we find ourselves. But like I said, it's moving gradually. From where you have your structures, we can see each other, we can fly on the road to people now adopting people, going into the forest to steal for weeks, for months, planning on how to come and perpetrate act of crime within the human dominated space. What that simply means, like I've also captured here, is that the place of collaboration between the police and an organization like this is such that we must begin to give serious attention to. And I also mentioned that geospatial information and intelligence obtained through surveying and mapping are necessary for making policing decisions and taking actions based on empirical data and certainty. You know, the kind of data you would generate, geospatial data that has to do with the geography and everything, are such that are just the way they are. I believe very strongly the surveyor tells you, go to so point, you will find it, you will find it. True of us. Because there's a level of certainty either you would have gone there, you would have used whatsoever means you want to are used to get this information. The information of except something else happens there, and probably take away whatsoever information you have about that location. But if nothing happens, the data, the information remains. So for the police to begin to plan very well, take those decisions that will make our security to work, we need what you do. That's exactly why I am here, to remind us there's nothing I'm going to say that will be too different, but the consciousness of how it is we can work together, how it is we can collaborate, how it is we begin to see ourselves as partners in progress, not enemies. Don't be after come here now, you will call me say because of the man that stopped on the road and took 1,000 from you. Taking 1,000 now means, oh, you need to fall back and tell yourself that you don't have a road, it's a lie. If you focus on all of those upside from some of us who have decided not to be real, you may not deliver on your mandate as a person. It's very important. And I've asked a very simple question: why must we collaborate? Like I said, I'm not going to take so much of the time. I want this thing to run as fast as possible. And I picked up a quote from Maxim. I was researching and I found this thing. And the man said, it is important to know that, unlike lawyers, I wouldn't know why he used lawyers. He said it is important to know that, unlike lawyers, land surveyors put public interest first. I don't know, is that right? So the lawyer, I wish I could do this comparison. I know some of us could be lawyers. I think the lawyer puts first because he needs to serve that person, but you put public interest first. So as you're giving those mapping lessons in land, you're considering every angle to what you're doing. The access road, if you build this house here, are you sure this house will not be a problem to the next person? Are you sure that tomorrow they will not come to say, okay, open up road here, and you begin to advise? That means beyond your client, you're seeing a general problem that needs to be handled. So while we must collaborate, it's beginning to emerge that when you put public interest first, so it's not about me, Daniel, wearing this uniform. It's not about saying it's police is about the effect of security in human society. That is part of your public interest. You're not looking at what you stand to even benefit, the kind of collaboration you should be having as a person or as an association, but you're looking at the generality of the people, the populace. You're looking at the role you play to ensure that what you do, what you represent, what you have studied, what you have professionally, what you have acquired the relevant qualifications to be part of, it's something that adds value to humanity. So when I looked at this quote, I said this is the best quote I can use in this meeting to begin to let us know that you don't put yourself, not even your client first, you put public interest. And one major thing I've mentioned here, I'll keep hammering, except we are living in oblivion in this country, is the fact that security, or as we found it generally, insecurity is a challenge, is a huge challenge that beckons the attention of every single individual, particularly a group like our own group. And in looking at why we must collaborate, I said something here. I said, surveys and maps of Enugu State can provide the police an on the geographical features of our local government and communities, showing roads for vehicles, showing footpaths, and different access routes to our communities. They can provide the police and other security agencies with information on the geographical features of our local government and communities, showing roads for vehicles, footpaths, and different access routes to the communities. We need to understand that you have something of surveys and maps already existing about the state. Beyond the geolocation, you can look at it. You begin to match these features with where you are. The ability to think, to make sense out of what that tracking result has given to you becomes a lot easier. And what will it mean is that before you say that you're already solving a problem, you're coming very close to the target you're looking for, and before you say that, you're easily identifying and getting that person. And we also say that geospatial data can be utilized by the police and other security agencies to strategically plan and secure Enugu State. Let me inform us that there's nothing we do we don't plan about. Except it's a distress call. In fact, even a distress call, no reason why if you call for distress, the police is asking you basic questions. Sometimes you are not comfortable with those questions. I don't know if you get it. But the extent is for him, the policeman going to take that policing action to do what? To plan. To prepare his mind. It could be contingency planning, it could be on-the-spot planning. Planning must not be something you sit down to do. Every moment we plan. I said you're taking decisions like they will say you're acting before thinking. Thinking comes first before any action. So once we get those information, we are beginning to think. Begin to look at the location the person has given to us. Begin to look at the possibilities from what angle are we even going to come from. Now when you talk about geospatial data, if those information are not there for us, we can't plan very well. And that will not happen until the accurate data that is represented by way of a map is provided to the police. So you see where the collaboration is going to happen. And we say it helps us in proper crime mapping of Enugu State. If your data is available to us, you can tell us that, okay, when you go to Opato, Umulungbe, I don't know if we'll take our duties there. Like if you check this forest, inside of this forest, I'm looking at the map you made available to me. I know there exists a cave. I know there exists an area of it that is densely populated with trees, that is more forested than other animals. I know that there is a water linking here, there is a stream here. I begin to think in my mind that it is possible because the criminal will not just come and stay where you see him naturally. So with some of this information, we begin to match imagination with reality. As I am thinking and conceiving in my head how to go about securing that particular location, I am matching it with the data, the geospatial data you've provided for me. And once those data are accurate, and I believe, like we also observe, that you bring it is a something of certainty. There's no guesswork in what you provide. I said it's except something had happened there that means probably could be something of force majeure, a natural occurrence, is another level of development that has happened there. All of what you initially have has been eroded. If that happens, then that's the only time that certainty may not be guaranteed. But if it is what it is, the way you provided it, as I'm looking at it, I'm matching this thing, and I am taking the right step and making sure the necessary thing is done. Crime prevention and dictation, whether in the old police act or in the new police act, the hub or the center of all of what we do is to dictate, either prevent crime or dictate them when they happen. You know, when people begin to tell you so many things that we are not doing very well, I say, well, knowledge, you know, you're only as good as what you know. Whatever you don't know is either older than you or younger than you. Your age whatsoever depends on your knowledge. There's no way we can prevent crimes if product of what you do, like I said, I will keep using maps and all of that, but I know you do more than that. You do more than that. If your advice, in fact, I think it should come to a point where you have an issue with consulting people. We say this, kidnapping has happened here, people have been taken into this forest. Who amongst you would have surveyed or done a work there? Can you begin to tell us? Just give us an idea of what that place is like. Let me crime is crime. A Yoruba man perpetrates crime, and Igbo man, Hausa, and everybody perpetrates crime. Crime does not know where you're coming from. You might want to localize certain crime to certain people, but crime is crime. Now, the challenge we're having is the fact that even the people who claim to be the owners of those forests, they don't know it. Are you aware of that? And they wouldn't worry, in fact, yesterday was when I called the TPU. I can't remember well now. Something had happened inside of the forest. Okay, there's a press statement I did recently, and the press release, they said before that it, where we neutralize two people that have been disturbing us before. I asked the GP, I said, can you give me the exact name of that location where that camp is? DP has said, even nothing will ever have forever. Now, what I didn't know about him are not within his jurisdiction. I know what I told him. Like I said, okay, you will be DP, you come on here now, go mount. I said, Bacon, I use the word Bacon. Find small rock. Go chook somewhere here now. You will see everybody from that community will run and go and meet you. But there's a situation they don't know what that place is all about. You can see how bad it's getting. Because the level of what we experience now, the complexity and complications surrounding crime and criminality in this time is not what it used to be. There were times you could sleep in your house, park your vehicle anywhere. In our villages you can go. I remember I used to leave my door open, I can keep anything anywhere, but that is not the case today. So the consciousness as to what some of these locations really are must need to occur to us. If a DPO will tell you that even the people that in quote own the land don't even know, that's the whole reason why we are struggling. When did you come back to the tribe to tell you, sorry if you're not Igbo, I can mix Igbo very well, I'm an Igbo man, or use Pidgin. You see, when you say certain crime are committed by certain people, I always ask you, how do you want to deal with these people? This is their life. You're dealing with people that are very, very itinerant. You're dealing with people that don't enjoy coming to stay in the comfort of a place like this, put on your AC and enjoy life. They largely survive and live in the forest. I don't know if you get it. You can bring a fish out of water, you struggle. They are in their natural habitat of operation. It's where they enjoy doing what they do. So if they perpetrate crime in those places, no matter how hard you try, you need another level of thinking to get at them, because this is where they own. It's a space they operate easily in. And that's the whole reason why when I was told this, it hit me. I said no. As much as they know there are people who may have the scientific knowledge of those places more than them. They may not know it the way you and I, you here particularly, will know, because it's what you do on a daily basis. You set out going to some of these places where you're carrying out your mapping activities, you're geolocating things, you're gathering information that themselves may not know. You just know it naturally, you just know, have a rough knowledge of it. It doesn't have the scientific side of it. It doesn't understand how all of these things work. But you are here, you have that capacity. You have that knowledge. Like I said, there are some of you that even know most community than the owners of the communities. Am I lying? Because of your work, because of the nature of what you do. So when you have this knowledge, you have this capacity, you can see that the place of collaboration is crazy. Kidnappers in this sense was telling them that see your brother, see them. If I want that, I will fire all of them. I don't know if you get how funny this thing is. Because we don't have all of the information. We don't have. When we came here, I said, the people, these were not, few people passed through here, who were here. To tell you how funny it is. Okay, but if you have the information, because no matter what you think, if you have real time, if it's a map, somebody has educated you to tell you this is how this forest is. As you're going, you'll be conscious to look out for those futures. Like I said, no criminal, no kidnapper, for example, kidnap you, take you to the forest and just stay on the road and wait for everybody to come. No. No matter how sophisticated, the level of ammunition he or she may have, or the criminals could have, they still believe they want to be safe with even the victims and get what they need to get. Just imagine that instance. Somebody is looking out for one killing dog, or somebody is in one and telling you, they see that yes, here's where they go. Because the knowledge of the geospatial information about that location is not in our disposal. The security and safety of surveyors line of duty. This is where this collaboration is also very important. All this while I've been talking about police. What I tried to do was to juxtapose them a little. Not just about us, but about you also. If you collaborate and collaborate very well, if you're even going on site to perform any duty, we can get to know that you're going for that duty. We can link you up with the DPO and say people like this are coming for an assignment here. Even if you're not giving a policeman real time with them, let the knowledge of the fact that they are coming here to perform it. Should in case, God forbid, anything funny happens, you have the information and you must act on it. Because I am not protecting just a surveyor, I am protecting a human being. And I have the responsibility to do what? To protect. So when we do not collaborate, like I said, I'm getting to even know, in my subconscious or in my imagination, I believe there could be an association. But real-time information has never been at my disposal. With this knowledge now, as we build a kind of relationship and cooperation that is expected of us, you now begin to know that even when you're going, especially in this time, even when you want to go there, we can be the ones to tell you, no, for now, don't go that place. I don't know if you get it. Because we have the real-time security information that you may not have about those locations. You now have what? You have the real-time data about those locations that we do not know. So the place of interplay synergy, partnership is not such, I believe, can be overemphasized here. Because your safety is also very important. As much as I want you to give me those data, if you're not safe bringing it, then there's a problem. You wouldn't have the heart to do it. Some of us, it's possible, have not done certain jobs because we are not sure about safety there. True of us. You have rejected certain jobs, you sure, but you're looking at the money that they are giving to you. You're also looking at the danger inherent in performing that task. What that simply means, there's a place, we must have a common meeting point. When you're giving us this, and we are doing our own part to ensure that you go out there to do what is expected of you without ranking. Is concerned in this state in Nigeria as a whole, you're extremely critical. If you don't know it, know it. And we live in a state where, I don't speak for the government, but I speak based on my understanding that we have a governor that believes so much in ideas. True of us. Like or not, dislike His Excellency Dr. Peter Mbako, is a man that works with ideas. If there's any way you can get that thing, get ideas. If you don't have an idea, you wouldn't want to even have anything to do with you. And he knows that one of the major agenda he wants to accomplish in the Enugu state is to ensure the security and safety of the state. I'm very sure he cannot achieve these big goals when he say you move us from so GDP to so GDP. You can't do that without security. And we have a body here that has the wherewithal, the knowledge base, the expertise to provide him with those things that will help him in his planning. So, Mr. Chairman, I want to push us a little. Can we begin to look at that angle? When we can begin to get real-time working map of this state, a map that even the government closes his eyes looking at it, is sure that this is working. When they are looking at using cameras and all of that. Beyond cameras, camera will only see what the human being is doing. Camera may not see what those features are. So I'm challenging us to the point where we can sit down as your meeting is a biannual meeting. Can you sit down and get a document on how to tackle security in Enugu State through surveying and mapping? Prepare a document with real-time fact and data as a group, as a body, paying a monthly visit. I don't work there, but in my subconscious I believe you have a role to play. Visit him, gather some of this, and then the experts will have a proposal for you, and we believe this proposal will help you in your fight against crime. We may not have all the resources to get you to do the work, the support we need from you. But if you're coming from the government and something is happening, the government is not just calling the commission of peace ahead of other secretary, it is calling the Surveyors Association. That's the hand in the 1 year older. What do you know about this forest to aid the police and others to work? I don't know if you get what I'm driving at. Maybe that consultant has not been there. Maybe you've tried the field. But I think something you know is practical and actionable. You won't just exist as an association that will come and meet biannual and by voting. You're leaving your soul. Mind you, they say your work, unlike the lawyers, to do what? Protect public interest. So you're coming up with something, is understanding what you carry, is understanding that you also have a huge role to play in his governance. He will not play with it. I saw so much, the one I mentioned, Michael Abu, who is the head media publicity office of the Surveyor General of the Federation. They've been making a case for surveying. I'm sure you know about that. I read plenty articles, plenty reports, when they were profiling solutions. In fact, even in the last one election like that, I read an article fully as to the role of surveying and mapping to help fight crime, thuggery during elections. What that simply means is that there's a low-hanging fruit for every one of you here. The body can begin to galvanize this. Not just come here and meet for something worthwhile. Solve your problems as an association. Also look at the public interest side of what you do. From here now, you can begin to think. I have a friend that has provided something very worthwhile. He took that particular proposal to His Excellency. There's an approval, although he has had the opportunity to meet with him. As an individual, imagine when you go as a group. As I'm speaking, you can begin to find a way to link up and say, we need to visit His Excellency. Let him know that as an association, as a group, we have certain solutions that will help him in what he's doing. This is how I want this organization to think. There could be so many encumbrances. There are limiting factors that are not want to make you feel like, no, we are not that useful. But when you begin to take steps as one body, not as an individual, you begin to see that you get the kind of results that is expected in one whistle a symphony. It takes the whole orchestra to play it. No matter how wonderful you are a drummer, in a band or woman, if there is no man playing piano or keyboard, if there is no man playing a bass guitar or light guitar, if there is nobody singing, you play your band in vain. You only make a noise. That is what Halford is saying. You can't whistle the symphony alone. You need a team, you need orchestra, you need collaboration. The next one. Next, just go the next one, you see it. This is from Isaac Newton. And he said, when two forces unite, their efficiency doubles. When the police in fighting crime unite with the Surveyors Association, what do you think will happen to our security? Our efficiency in fighting security will do what? It will double. If we used to catch one, we need to catch two. If we used to rescue 2-3 persons, we can rescue whatever is happening. Even the criminal will take us much more serious. We understand that the space of his operation is such that it's very hostile for him. When we say we make the environment unbearable and not conducive for the criminal, it's only when we begin to get the kind of result that is expected of us. You can't make it come if they realize they come and do sometimes of which we will observe it. I say we can still do more and much more better with your support. If they come and they have their way, do whatever they do and go, and nothing happens, they feel they could come and do it another day. But when we begin to unite, our forces are coming together, you're bringing the knowledge you have, I'm bringing that which I have. We are tackling all of these issues head on as one team. We begin to get the kind of result we have. And the last one I had there is from Keller. Alone we can do so little. Together we can do what? So much. And that is the heart of collaboration. Collaboration means coming together, partnering, synergizing, thinking together, talking together, acting together. I begin to close and I will tell you that there's no way whatsoever, even in Igbo language, and as we are thinking, you are saying, thank you and God bless you.